Now let me show you how to set up a remote monitoring plan for a patient. From the patient list, which you can get to under the company menu item, you select a patient who's ready to be instrumented with devices and make sure that they have the consent completed for remote patient monitoring. Once that's completed, we search for the patient, and you could see that they have completed the consent form, and it's stored in our system. You can click on the patient's name. You can review their demographics. You can also look at their login information. This is helpful in determining their login and that they've already been provided with the consent. What we're going to do is show you how to add them to a remote monitoring plan. We go in to the menu item for CCM and RPM journal. We go under RPM and we select monitoring plans. Here you can see a list of all the monitoring plans, which you can select from this list to see if any patients are, if Jerry West is already in a monitoring plan. If not, you can create a monitoring plan for Jerry West by entering a few characters of the patient's name. In the search, we will find that patient. If they're eligible, they will show up in the list. If they're ineligible, they won't show up in the list. Enter the name of the prescribing physician, the start date, who is going to be reporting the data for this particular patient. In other words, who is going to be following up to gather the data and make sure it's being reported. And this will determine whose work list it will go on. For now, let's say it's Dr. Laura Smith. Contact name, someone who's going to be calling out to the patient, who's going to be called by the reporter to gather the data. When the data is going to be reported, how often. So you could select individual days, or you can select all and eliminate Saturday and Sunday, or let's leave it at all. Who is going to be informed? This is whose dashboard is going to get any out of bounds conditions, out of range conditions. And then you select the vital parameter that you want to have the data, have the patient enter or collect from a connected device. How often are you going to measure this? This is a prescription from the physician who's saying how often. Well, we'd like blood pressure recorded every day and 3 times a day. And here is where you set out of bounds conditions, warning and critical, high and low. Enter those in, and what's going to happen is if any of the readings are below your warnings or criticals, you're going to get a notification. And if it is above some of the high numbers, you're going to get a warning as well. And these notifications will show up on your CCM to-do list. So the patient can take their readings, enter them into their monitoring device, or have a Bluetooth connected device that reports the data that rolls up into our system in our dashboards. And as it is rolling up into our dashboards, it's tested against these thresholds. If it exceeds these threshold limits, a notification or an alert will show up on Laura Schmidt's CCM dashboard. I'm going to add this vital parameter and save it. I could add another one if I wanted. And here you can see the plan for Jerry West shows up. I click on it. I can edit it again. I can add another vital parameter, say pulse ox, schedule that for every day of the week, morning, noon, and evening. And I could put in some lows and highs. And when those are exceeded, I would get a notice. And in pulse ox, it's generally the lower readings that are warning and critical. Save that. Now I have both blood pressure and oxygen saturation in the monitoring plan. And you could see down below, I have an audit trail of these parameters and when they were added and who added them. So anytime I edit this monitoring plan, I'm going to have an audit trail of what changes occurred. Likewise, I can also put comments in as well. So let's go back over to the daily monitoring plans. And you can see I'm signed in as Laura Smith, and I could see that Jerry West has now showed up under my assigned monitoring plans. I've already reported the daily monitoring statistics and vitals for Bill Aaron, but I haven't done Jerry West. So now I can click on Jerry West and I can wait for his vitals to appear. In a separate video, we will be showing how these vitals appear in the remote monitoring plan and how you can review these vitals and the trends of these vitals. Thank you.